Hey everyone, welcome to my backyard. Today I'm going to show you how I paint my rifles, and I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks along the way to help the process go along a little smoother, a little easier for you. For this project, you're going to need two main things. Along with your weapon that you're painting, you're going to need paint and painter's tape or some kind of tape or something to cover up the spots that we don't want to get paint on. So why would you want to paint your weapons? Well, there's a lot of reasons someone might want to, and there's a lot of reasons someone might not want to. But in the preparedness community, or if we're going to take the Second Amendment seriously and consider it for what it really is for, painting your rifle might not be such a bad idea. One big thing that painting a rifle does for us is it breaks up the outline of the weapon. So if I hold this weapon against my body, or if I'm trying to blend into my environment of some sorts, it's going to do a better job if it's painted than if it was the factory shimmery black that a lot of weapons come with. Our brains are naturally wired to notice things that might be a threat in nature. So snakes, bears, our brain triggers a natural response, a threat response, and our eyes dart to it. If you've ever been hiking or walking down a trail and you've seen a snake on the ground, you know what I mean. Your eyes notice it, you freeze up and you jump a little bit. That's the threat response automatically triggering in your brain. So that's the threat response we're trying to mitigate from an opposing force or from somebody that we don't want to see us. All right, so tip number one, you're gonna want to cover all of the pieces of the rifle that you don't want to get paint on. This would be things like your optics window, any windage or sighting adjustment markers, the trigger. You're going to want to tape off your muzzle device if it's a suppressor host, your flashlight emitter, and the magazine well. I like to just put a mag into the magazine well, and that will keep paint from getting up there inside the bolt carrier group. Obviously, you could remove all of the accessories and re-zero your optic later, but I can't be bothered to do that. All right, so as we get started with painting, this takes us on to tip number two, which is gonna be multiple layers of paint. We're gonna start with the base layer color, and this will depend on the environment you live in. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere on the coast of Florida, so I'm gonna use this green, well, I'll just show you. Kind of a dark green color there. And that dark green color there is gonna be really good for our base layer. So you just wanna do nice, even strokes. Go ahead and paint that magazine there. And I don't want to go too heavy with it the first go around. And then we're going to set our weapon up this way and get the top part. And then don't forget the underside here. I mean, I guess you don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's your weapon. So, like I said, tip number two is multiple layers of paint. This was our base layer. Now, I'm gonna go over and do our secondary. And this is gonna be more just to kind of give it some dimension. So I have this laundry bag. This isn't necessary. You could just go through and do some basic stripes along the weapon. But what I'm gonna do is take this laundry bag that I've cut up and clearly have used before for things like this. So I'm going to do the stripes, but I'm going to do it with this laying over the top. It'll give a nice little texture to the weapon. If you are using a laundry bag using this method, you're going to want to make sure it's nice and tight over the areas that you're painting. And this is where I'm going to use the secondary color, which is this nice flat dark earth kind of khaki color. So I'm just going to start over here at the end of the weapon. Okay, so let's see how that. We're gonna lift this up here. Boom. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this part right here. Ooh, there. Okay, well, I've kind of janked it up. And just do a thick one right there. Hey, it's not perfect, but you know what? It's got character, and that's what matters. So we're gonna flip her back over. So we have the stripes going from front to back, so I'm gonna continue that on this side. All right, let's see how that turned out. There we go. All right, I really like the way this turned out. It's nice and simple and subtle, and that takes us on to the last tip I have for you today, which is tip number three, keep it simple. The KISS principle, or the keep it simple stupid principle, is something we can apply to almost everything in preparedness. This is one of them. Now, that being said, if you insist on this being an arts and crafts project, then go for it. That's the cool thing about paint. You can just paint over it. This rifle has been painted at least 8 times, 8 coats of paint, and it still functions great. It's still able to hold new coats of paint. And you'll find out that when you go out with your newly painted rifle and you beat it up for a while and you train hard like you're supposed to, it ends up looking way better. So have fun with it. You can always go back and change it later. We live in pretty serious times, but it's okay to have some fun when you're training, when you're doing these necessary preparedness things. It's okay to have fun and to do it with joy. In fact, I think we should do these things with joy. So that's it. That is our painted rifle. Congratulations. You are now based Chad rifle painter man or woman. It's not perfect. It was never going to be perfect, and that's okay, because this is not an art piece. It is a weapon and a tool created for a specific purpose. By painting it, we are simply helping it along its little way into being the effective tool that it is. But none of it matters if we don't train our minds, bodies, and spirits. So get out there, go check on your buddies, check on your loved ones, kiss your kids goodnight. Hey, if you liked what you saw here, if you found any value in this video, go ahead and give us a like, hit the subscribe button. It would help us out a ton as a really small, growing channel. I would really appreciate that. And go ahead and leave a comment down below of some of the topics you'd like discussed on this channel from the point of view of an average citizen, just a dad trying to make his way, keep his family safe and fed and thriving in these really rough times that we happen to find ourselves in. Hey guys, train hard, love your families, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. We'll see you next time. Oh my God, it's a fully semi-automatic 60 bullet magazine bullet fed weapon of mass short barrel destruction.